And it's always about when you gonna do this shit. I know, I'm a stupid misfit.
Alright, this is how I mix vocals like Glaive. I started listening to Glaive early 2020 because he was really good and his vocals are really clean. And the way his vocals are mixed are pretty like unique. So I tried to replicate his vocal mix on a song I'm working on. For this vocal mix, there's two different vocal layers. They're identical except the second one has a stereo enhancer, which I'll get into. So to start off, I have a fruity limiter. This is used to basically just level your vocals, make sure that it's loud enough, but also make sure that it's not too loud, because you want your vocals to be pretty balanced when you sing or rap or whatever you do. So I have the gain turned up a little bit and then also the ceiling turned down a little bit. Alright, next up I have a compressor. What this does is essentially boost your vocals and make sure that it's loud enough, and it works with the fruity limiter to make sure that your vocals are all leveled and crisp and clean and etc. Alright, next I have a EQ. I have this one cutting off this certain bass frequency. If you watch a lot of my videos, you know that I cut this off in most of them, because when you sing, if you have this certain frequency boosted, it'll make your voice sound pretty weird and it'll sound muddy and it won't like mix well. So I cut that off and I cut the lows off and boosted the very highs. After that I have a second EQ. Once again, it cuts off the lows and it cuts off some of the mid frequencies that get loud when you sing, and you don't want that because it'll sound kind of harsh on your ears. And then I boosted the highs up here. After that, I'm just using Soundgoodizer as a saturizer. I'm using on the D setting and about 1/4 of the way. So what it does is it just boosts your vocals and makes them sound really crisp and clean. And after that, I have Maximus. I'm using as a de-esser. Maximus actually works pretty well as a free de-esser, but you can use, Nectar or any other de-esser you have in mind. After that, I'm using Autotune. I'm using Autotune Artist because I think it's the best one out of the Entourage pack, because it's not too complicated, but it also gives you enough settings to where you can make your voice sound good. So I have my retune speed set to 6, my flex tune set to 10, and my humanize also set to 10, because I don't want the vocals to be super robotic, but I also don't want them to slip and go off key. So at this settings, it'll make sure that it flows nicely without going off key. Okay, this second preset is exactly identical to the first one, except it has a stereo enhancer, which I added because we're going to link the background panned left and right presets to this mixer instead of the first one.
I don't want you in my brain. Treat me like a mannequin.
So in the actual song itself, I have 3 layers right here. I have a main layer right here.
Did I ever think you would have enough?
That one's set to the first mixer track, which is panned 12% to the left, and it does not have the stereo enhancer. So what Glaive does for mixing his vocals is for the panned left and right vocals, he has his high vocals in his right ear and then his low octave vocals in his left ear. So for this one, I have my high vocals set 60% panned to the right, and they sound like this.
Did I ever think you would have enough?
And it is set to the second mixer track, which does have the stereo enhancer. And then the last layer is the low octave vocals, which I have panned 85% to the left, and those sound like this.
Did I ever think you would have enough?
So now that you have your high vocals, your low vocals, and your main vocals, it should sound like this.
Did I ever think you would have enough?
And you can hear it all blends together pretty nicely, and it's very similar to what Glaive does. So once you do that for all your vocals, it should sound like this all together.